Happy Sunday morning, everybody. I hope it's a good one for you. John North here, Inside Tennessee on WBIR, and our guest this morning is Randy Boyd. We have been talking about the Public Use Stadium project. Now we're going to shift to talking about the University of Tennessee system, another sort of sideline that he has, or maybe it's a full line, or with him, he can do 2 or 3 jobs at once. So, Randy, let's shift to talking about education a little bit. I guess if you don't mind, I wanted to start real quick. I noticed last week during a briefing, the University of Tennessee student healthcare director mentioned that they were looking at President Biden's recent order mandate regarding vaccinations and whether that was pertinent at all to the University of Tennessee. You would think maybe at first blush not, but I don't know. Have you all heard about that? Any discussions about that? Whether that's something that's going to require any kind of compliance?
First, John, in my defense and for job security, I should say that in case any of my board of trustees are listening, that University of Tennessee is my full-time job that I spend 100 hours a week on. But with regards to this particular issue, the executive order could potentially directly impact the University of Tennessee. We have over $750 million worth of federal contracts, and our read on the executive order would imply that if we're going to continue to have executive or federal contracts, that we would have to comply with the executive order. Having said that, the executive order is somewhat ambiguous. And so we have our general counsel doing a deep analysis on it. And the fact is also that there's still things that have yet to be determined. So we're still navigating that. As of this moment, we don't have an answer on how it's going to impact us and what kind of action that we need to take. Our state has a law that says that public entities within the state of Tennessee cannot mandate a vaccine. So it puts us in between the federal government and the state government. We're trying to figure out exactly what we should do and need to do. But at this moment, we haven't determined that yet.
Thank you, Susan.
So, Randy,
throw one out there.
I would like to ask about 3 new scholarships that the University of Tennessee at Knoxville has created. One is the Distinguished Tennessean, and then there's an orange and white and the Tennessee Connect Scholarship. Could you talk a little bit about that and the reasoning behind this? And by the way, thank you. I'm sure parents appreciate it.
I can't really speak directly about each one of those in particular, but I can just say this, that the University of Tennessee Knoxville and all of our campuses are continuously looking for ways to make our campuses more accessible. One of the ways we do that is to make them more affordable. A common misconception is that it's expensive to come to the University of Tennessee, and if you do come and you do graduate, you're going to walk away with a lot of debt. It's important to note 51% of the students that graduated from UT Knoxville last year graduated with 0 debt. Our average debt is like $24,000 per student. So most students don't have any debt when they graduate, and those that do have a fairly modest amount of debt. So we're constantly looking for ways to make it even more affordable and more accessible. A few years back, 2 years ago, we introduced the UT Promise that said if your family income is under $50,000 and you can academically qualify for any one of our campuses, you can go free of tuition and fees. And that's for every campus across the state. We're the first system to ever do anything like that, and we're continuously looking for other ways to make education more accessible at the University of Tennessee.
Thank you.
So, Randy, if I could just touch back a little bit on the COVID and pandemic issues, I think the university and through your leadership has done a pretty good job with the masking issues. And I'll speak to Knoxville's campus as I know it best. But I'm interested or even a little bit concerned about the issues with Neyland Stadium and why decisions were made not to at least require masking or some additional protective devices, because when you look at that setting, you've got, fortunately, 80 to 100,000 people in there enjoying themselves, watching football, close quarters, yelling and screaming as they should, and we hope. But that looks to be, potentially a bit of a health hazard, a serious health hazard. Has the university given any thought to at least a masking requirement in Neyland Stadium to observe football?
Well, we're constantly considering all options, and we're focused on making sure we keep both our fans and our students safe. CDC guidelines aren't requiring masking outside, and obviously Neyland Stadium is a big outdoor environment. So it's something that we're continually monitoring, but this time I think we're consistent with CDC and other safe practices. But again, it's something that we will continue to monitor.
Are there masking requirements in the skyboxes?
They're encouraged, but not required. In the university box where I typically said, as long as you're not eating or drinking, we're encouraged to wear a mask. But a lot of the suites are privately managed. The family or a company will own that suite, and they have the liberty to do what they wish inside their own space.
I did see.
We are talking to Randy Boyd about University of Tennessee system and other topics. It's time now for us to take a break, but we'll be right back. You're watching Inside Tennessee.